Howdy, everyone. It's Sam. I hope you're all doing really well. If you're new around here, I hope I can get you to consider liking the content and subscribing to the channel. And if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. Joining me tonight in this Wobblin Joy episode is Mr. Nick from Australia and Mr. Proenzo Vids. They're both going to help me talk about the possibilities of an 18th side, where the location should be, what's the best port of call. Nick from Australia, man, how are you?
I'm well, mate. It's good to be back on. The Wobblin Jaw Show has returned. It's good to see. I'm glad it's back. I'm really happy to be here and looking forward to talking about the potential of who the 18th team could be and who it should be.
And Mr. Parenzo Vids, bro, you've been busy this afternoon, mate, with the Ankle Breaker podcast, which went very well, might I add. How are you doing, good sir?
Yeah, Sam, going really well. Thank you for having me on the Wobblin Jaw Show. I think this is my first time coming on the show as well, so good to have a first appearance. And yeah, hello Nick, hello chat. So I'm keen to discuss the topic.
And we've got a handful of people in the chat right now, and thank you all very much for tuning in, all 8 of you at the moment. That will increase over time. And speaking of increasing numbers, I'd like to introduce you all to the fourth man that will be joining us this evening, Mr. All Out Champa. Yo, in his Superman pose, bro. How you going, man?
I'm doing good, Sam. Thank you for having me on the Wobblin Jaw Show. It is probably my debut on the show, and I'm excited to talk about the topic at hand. And hello to you, Nick and Lorenzo. I hope you guys are doing well.
How are you, brother?
And again, thank you for having me on.
Dude, thank you very much for your help, man. And by the way, audio and visuals, bro, you're coming in smooth, man. So nothing to worry about, man. We're gonna make sure that this dodo bird fucks off. Excuse my language.
Oh, don't worry. If the dodo comes, I'm prepared.
Lock and load, man. Lock and load. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about the 18th side in the NRL is because the Dolphins, they're coming into the NRL next season, and they've had 1 year to assemble their side. And in my opinion, while on the inside looking out, things look like they're going smoothly for Wayne Bennett at the moment. But from the outside looking in, and this is a question I want to throw to you for the 3 gentlemen as well. I think they're struggling a little bit. I don't think they've had quite enough time to forge a good enough roster at this point in time. Still many, many months away. But at this point in time, I think they're really cutting it fine. Parenzo Vids, man, I'd like to get your impressions on how the Dolphins have gone so far, mate.
Well, recruitment-wise, I think they've been a little bit disappointing in some parts because I think that, they should definitely build their club around a big name sort of signing to start off with. They haven't really found that marquee player yet. I think there's been talk about, Munster, Ponga, and all these sort of people were linked to the club at one point, but they still haven't, nailed that real big signing yet. So while they have signed some all right players, like Jennings is an okay player, and I think Gilbert and Bromwich brothers all solid pickups for the club, but they still need to really find that marquee signing that's really going to change the club and be a big one too. So it's a little bit underwhelming, I'd say.
Agreed and very well said, mate. Nick from Australia, how have you assessed and ascertained Redcliffe Dolphins so far, mate?
They love buying New South Wales Cup's quality players, don't they? New South Wales Cup, Queensland Cup standard players. They don't love going out and buying the big name players. Obviously, it's a bit slow at the moment. I'm not too worried about the Dolphins. I expect them to really, really struggle their first year, probably in the battle for the wooden spoon their first year in. But by the way, things are going at the moment. But I have no doubt they'll be looking at a marquee signing soon. There's plenty of names you could throw in the hat. But, yeah, a bit slow, bro. I'm expecting it to pick up sometime soon. Surely there's a big buy coming before Origin. But the Dolphins are slow, but hey, Wayne Bennett is a genius. He will play it as slow as he can. He's been in the game longer than most of us have been alive. So Wayne Bennett will take it slow.
Very well said, mate. And All Out Champa, how have you ascertained how Wayne Bennett has gone so far?
Well, Wayne knows better than me, so but I'm going to share my 2 cents on how I feel the Dolphins have approached their signings. Now, I've mentioned this in a video that I made called My Thoughts on the Dolphins signing. I've always thought that the Dolphins should have based their team, their forwards and their backs around their spine. that their hooker, their two halves, and their fullback should have been their first signings. Why is that? Well, you get your spine ready. You get to find players around that you can build off your spine. You know, if you got a halfback that has a good kicking game, find a winger who's very agile. If you got a 5'8" who can throw a good short ball, find a front rower that can run that hole good. I always thought that, you know, their first signing should have been a halfback or a fullback, i.e. a marquee signing, because that not only is that the face of the club, but you can secure a big name signing that you can build your team around. They've signed too many forwards, I feel like, and they're slowly starting to get into starting to sign a back line. But like Nick said, are they quality players? New South Wales Cup standards, yes. NRL players, Robert Jennings, Jesse Bromwich, you know, back end of his career. Look, I trust that Wayne Bennett can lock in that big name signing, but as of right now, things don't look good, and they start preseason in a few months, so they really need to find a top 30 fast before, you know, things start looking really bad.
Thank you very much for your thoughts, mate. You very well said, all three of you gentlemen. And I'm going to ask the fourth man to come in as a guest this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please welcome Mr. Nathan Moore to the chat? How you going, matey?
Not bad.
Nathan's
Thank you for having
NRL
me
team
on.
will be the 18th team. It'll be his new team, guaranteed. The odds are $1.20.
Yeah,
The odds are
Nathan B. Moore, that B means bandwagon.
True that.
Yep,
Oh
Nathan,
God, I mean you're not wrong.
Nathan,
I'm just
mate.
messing
So
with you, mate.
the question that I want to ask you, and the same question that I've asked these three other gentlemen, mate. How have you thought about Wayne Bennett's recruitment drive so far, leading into 2023?
I mean, it's underwhelming. It is very underwhelming. I mean, but you're not gonna get the. How do I put it? You're not gonna get those big signings straight away. It's not gonna be it. This was what I was kind of expecting, if I'll be honest, from the Dolphins. Like, none of these big signings and that, but at least signings to, you know. And it's all got to do with the fact, in my opinion, that just the rest of the 16 clubs are just rushing in to sign all these big marquee players and keep everyone there, which is a smart move, but it's also a dick move.
Okay, no, I understand that, man. I understand. Okay, then, no worries. Now, so we've just touched on the 17th team. This conversation tonight is about our opinion and could be a really great debate. I think it will be about where the 18th team should be placed in the NRL, because I think the Redcliffe Dolphins have not been given enough time, and to have an odd number of teams playing in the NRL with a team having a weekly bye, that's not the sort of layout that I want. And as Champa just said, that's not the layout that does work in the NRL. So the sooner the better for an 18th side to even it all out, a lot better. And for me personally, the conversation needs to happen now. I know it's so early and so fast off of the heels of the announcement of the Dolphins, but this has to happen now because we can't have an odd number of teams playing in the NRL. It has to be an even competition. So let's just go through the ones that are not going to ever be considered. And if you're watching this live in the live chat, please leave your opinions down below. Please go and check out the channels of Nick from Australia, Pruenso Vids, All Out Champa, and you can give Nathan Moore a like on Instagram as well. So the first, let's get this one out of the way. Do we want a Tasmanian team in the NRL, lads?
No.
Has Tasmanian even heard of rugby league? I don't think so.
They've heard of jump jackers recently, but no. All right, next one. South Australian team. Do we think that should be the next joint?
Maybe if they can build the game. If they can build the game
it'll
in
never
South
happen.
Australia.
If South
team-
Australia
It will
make the
never
NRL, they will be a failure.
Mm-hmm.
But what if, guys? What if you can build the game? Start with your juniors, build a lot of junior competitions down there, have a rep side in the team, and then you work your way up to an NRL side. Don't you see that working? Could that work?
10 years to fucking do it.
Renzo, don't?
The opportunities
No,
there.
I don't agree.
Alrighty. Now, let's get into the real meat and potatoes of it. And this is the one that I want to hear most of your lads' opinions on. The Bears.
Ooh.
The Bears,
This-
ladies and gentlemen.
This is a team that's very likely to be the A-team side because a lot of people have been talking about the Bears returning back into the NRL. Do they have the finance? Yes, I feel like they do. They have a lot of success as of right now in the New South Wales Cup. I'm pretty sure they're first or second. I could be wrong, but they are running on the top on the ladder.
They're up there.
Can they do it on their own, though? That's the thing. That's the question that we should ask. Can the Bears do it on their own?
Yes.
Now, Champa and Nathan, I hope you guys can see this. I know that Nick and Parenzo Fitz can.
Yes, I can see it.
So, in doing the research for it, the plan is to be injected as the 18th team by 2025. So far as getting a team back into to make an even number of clubs in the NRL, they're aiming to be in by 2025, which is fantastic. The thing that the sort of, how do I say it? The sort of the twist on it though is that they won't be playing out at the Central Coast. The consortium, the bid is sort of saying and pushing for at least or more than six, just a touch over 6 games at North Sydney Oval, with the idea for the Bears to be more of a New South Wales regional travelling club, Central Coast, Wagga Wagga, Dubbo, Tamworth, and Coffs Harbour. So the Bears, whilst they will return to North Sydney Oval, they are going to be taking that show on the road. And just to bring up another overlay, guys, North Sydney Leagues Club has stated that they will back the Bears financially. The Bears have said that they will be able to stump up the $50 million to prove that they can be financially stable in the first 5 years if they are to be successful from 2025. And in doing so, a new centre of excellence would be built up and backed by the council, including the touching up of a North Sydney Oval. Champa, you sound like you're ready to get into it, mate. After reading and seeing all of that, mate, North Sydney Bears, bro, what do you reckon?
So a travelling club, and I saw the areas that you mentioned: Central Coast, Coffs Harbour, Dubbo, Wagga Wagga. It seems that they're going to be situated in the central part of New South Wales, correct? I can see it working. A huge region of rugby league is huge in those areas, especially areas like Central Coast and Coffs Harbour, who I feel like definitely deserve a rugby league team. As for what else you said, the North Sydney Leagues Club wanting to back the Bears, and they're going to prove that they have the $50 million to be stable. Look, just like the Dolphins, they said they can start tomorrow, and this team looks like they're ready to build onto a way to starting very soon. I'm very excited to see how the Bears really approach this journey, because a lot of people want to see the Bears back, and I for myself want to see the Bears back. They're a club that has been around since rugby league first started in Australia. So look, I'm backing the Bears as well, and I feel like if they can, have a good mindset and stay headstrong into wanting to come back into the NRL, I think they can do it. But I don't. But do you think that it can a traveling club, would that work, or would a club being situated in a fixed area would work?
2.5 years.
That is true. The whole country is.
Well, let's Nick from Australia, mate, jump in now, mate. After reading and seeing all of that, hearing it too, what do you ascertain of the Bears' bid to potentially join in 2025?
Fellas, it's a no-brainer. Central Coast is a must-have. We all know the situation back in 2006 when they should have been in the NRL, but they went with the Gold Coast. We all know that situation. Here's the thing with the Central Coast Bears, boys. They've got the money. They've got the Leagues Club. They've got the junior systems. They've got everything in place. They have Central Coast Stadium as well, which they're not going to use all the time, but they can still use that as a home ground. Taking games on the road, the Coffs Harbour, places like Port Macquarie, visiting that region, going up that way. It's a fantastic thing. I can't remember the last time a game of football was even near Port Macquarie. I know the Sharks and the Titans have a game at Coffs Harbour again this year, like they did last year. But Central Coast, boys, it's got the best junior system in Sydney. It's got it's got the Great Leagues Club, financially stable, and they have more money than the Gold Coast Titans do. So it's a no-brainer, boys. People are going to say, or another team in New South Wales, that's not healthy for the game. It's not healthy. We didn't take the game to Perth. We didn't take the game to Adelaide. Well, why take the game to Perth and Adelaide when you're competing with two AFL teams? You're competing with teams who play soccer over there. It's not going to work. And look, man, Central Coast, it is rugby league. It is rugby league through and through. It's a complete no-brainer. I know Rugby History is saying the same thing in the chat as what I'm saying right here. But, boys, the Central Coast Bears, it has to happen. They have to be the 18th team. If they go to Perth or Adelaide, it's going to end up being a failure after 2 years.
Fantastic, Nick. Fantastic. Parenzo Vids, mate. What do you make about the Bears, bro? How high up on the list are they for you, bro, to become the 18th side?
Yeah, mate. Well, for me, they're up there. Like, they're up there because they have, like, the Leagues Club and the stadium already set up there. And, like, I've been to the stadium plenty of times to Central Coast. And, yeah, like, it's a great stadium. Definitely rugby league. Definitely a well set up club for rugby league to come in, I think. And, you know, I think like, when Nick said they have more money than the Titans, that just indicates how much, you know, more set up and more professional they are, I guess, if you go off that. So, I think the Bears definitely should be considered. And I think also the Central Coast needs to be definitely up there as a talking point to be the next 18th team.
Thank you, friend. So, Nathan, mate, what about the Bears for you, mate? Do you like it? Don't like it?
Yeah, I really actually like the idea the Bears have put in there. I think dropping the North Sydney moniker is a good idea, in my opinion, because you're going to be all across. If you're going to play all your games all across New South Wales, it's great for New South Wales Rugby League too, because it's another way of saying, hey, we see you, we recognise you guys. We're not just going to be solely on Sydney, like, no offense, how they sometimes treat it, or majority of them treat it.
Yep.
And this is probably me being biased. Because I am from the regional. I'm from regional New South Wales. But, like, I think this is a great idea. I think it's a great idea for the Bears. You've also got that history, been around since 1908. And the other thing, too, is, Lorenzo, you'll actually have a proper rival again.
Yeah, true.
Sam,
Because
you've got to read Rugby League History's comment he just put in the chat. I think it's brilliant.
Alrighty, let's do that. And Rugby League History, mate, to you watching, thank you so much for tuning in, and to everybody watching right now, please go and subscribe to Rugby League History. He's one of the best NRL YouTube content creators going around. North Sydney were $4 million in debt back in '99, got kicked out. Gold Coast were $34 million in debt back around 2013, and the NRL got them in. And by the way, Nathan, thank you for speaking your point, mate. Being that you are a bloke from up around the Northern Rivers, sort of like Nathan is as well. I'd like hearing your viewpoint, considering that where you come from, where you live, mate. Dude, yeah, I think are we all in agreement, guys, that that the Bears would be the quickest, easiest solution?
Yes.
To fixing up the NRL odd numbers. Yes.
By far.
Yes.
Boys.
The great thing as well is... Oh, go on, Nick.
No, you go, bro. Go on.
I was just going to say, you don't even need to build a fan base. The fan base is there. I've seen a lot of Bears fans. They've been loyal to their club for over 20 years, you know? Ever since their club got kicked out. I'm pretty sure... Go on.
Sorry about that. Sorry, but I have met Bears fans that just refuse to watch rugby league because the Bears are not in there.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the same.
Exactly.
That's the same with the Newtown Jets, bro. It's the same as them. And
Yeah.
They're
let me
very
just-
passionate fans.
let me just say this. With all due respect to the other teams that are trying to become the 18th team, what on earth do Adelaide, Perth, New Zealand have that the Central Coast don't already fucking have? The Central Coast have more than what New Zealand, Perth, Adelaide already have. Central Coast have everything ready to go. Perth look confused. They're competing with Perth Glory. They're competing with Fremantle. They're competing with West Coast. For example, boys, I know we want the NRL to be bigger than the AFL, but here's the thing, right? You go over to Perth, for example, say it's a Saturday night, something. Say West Coast are playing at Optus Stadium against, say, I don't know, Carlton, for example. But there's an NRL game on the same day. And you go, oh, go to the NRL. It's the Perth Reds versus the Bulldogs, live from whatever stadium they're playing at. And the people in Perth will be going, I don't want to go to that. I want to go watch West Coast play. Oh, no. I want to go watch Fremantle play. Bullshit. It's bullshit, bro. How is Perth going to grow when you got Fremantle, West Coast, Perth Glory? You can't compete with all that. You're not going to win. Central Coast Stadium, on the other hand, you play there, you're probably going to get about 15,000 a game. Central Coast Stadium on TV will look 10 times better than what you see on Thursday night between South and Brisbane. Guarantee it.
That's a good point to make. And,
But-
I also add, well, AFL, a lot of people say, oh, the NRL is afraid of expansion. The AFL would love to expand. Well, hang on. Now, I'm not very big on AFL. I do watch it here and there. But from what I know, there's only a very little amount of Sydney teams and Brisbane teams in AFL, but there's a huge amount of teams in South Australia and Perth. I could be correct. Nathan, you could correct me on this since you're a very big AFL fan. That is correct, right?
Two teams in Perth, 2 teams in Adelaide, 2 teams in Sydney, 1 team in Brisbane, and
See
then
what I
other
mean?
teams in the Gold Coast.
You're setting
Yeah.
up for failure if you go to Perth and Adelaide. You're setting up for a failure. It's not going to work. I don't care how
It's
much
AFL.
money you throw in. They don't have a junior system. They don't have a fan base. They don't have a membership. They don't have anything good over there. Central Coast have everything in line right now.
It's AFL area.
Exactly.
You can't win.
Now, so guys, we're going to move on now from the Bears because there are other teams and other locations that we must talk about. And the main real spiking reason why I have decided to talk about this topic this evening is that about a week ago,
we don't know what it is.
Papua New Guinea have come out and said we're going to start building up an application, and I'll get up some more notes here. So to become the next side or one of the next sides in the National Rugby League. And just for reference, this is their national stadium up there in Papua New Guinea.
Very
and
nice.
here is some of the notes that I've been able to take. So Papua New Guinea League officials have announced that in 2025, they will officially put in a bid to be the 18th team in the NRL by 2030. Now, the very first point that I need to stop there on is that we need an 18th side in the NRL before the year 2030.
That
It's
is true.
non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. The next point of call, the Mayor of Cairns wants it to be a combined team with PNG. So the PNG side would base themselves out there in Cairns. And Nick and Nathan, mate, even though you're half a Dragon supporter, bro, we'd end up having a half a derby sort of thing if that was to be the case. Papua New Guinea versus North Queensland, considering they're only a spit away from Cairns. And the other point too, PNG government will financially assist the bid over the next 3 years, leading up to 2025, putting in $3.8 million over the next 3 years. So Papua New Guinea, man, this is a lot more serious than what their previous bid was. I would love to see a Papua New Guinea inside. It is the national sport, but so much money has to be invested, way more than what's been touted there by the Papua New Guinea government, and so much infrastructure has to happen, more security, because unfortunately, reading up, Papua New Guinea is still rife with criminal activity and just deadly bloody things going on up there in Papua New Guinea. And Champa, mate, I'll let you go first. Papua New Guinea, man. And this is the question. This is the question from here on out, lads. If it's not the Bears that becomes the 18th team, who's the next side that you'd want? And how would you go with it? Starting off with Papua New Guinea and all that, Champa, I'll start with you, mate.
Okay, now Papua New Guinea. That we have seen so many great PNG players come out of Papua New Guinea. I think the standout player for PNG is Justin Olam, freak of a player on that Melbourne Edge.
Yeah.
Now, you did say that they plan to be is it like a joint venture with Cairns or to be like situated?
No. So I'll clarify that. So at the moment, they just want to be their own own bid. They want to be based in Port Moresby, play out at that stadium, and not have any sort of real affiliation with the mainland of Australia. But this Cairns mayor has come out and said, why don't we combine forces, mate? And you can base yourselves out here in Cairns.
Okay. Now, I say this with the greatest respect to people who are Papua New Guinean and to anyone watching this live stream. Please do not take this as any racism or anything. But who in Australia would want to live, and I say this with the greatest respect, who would want to live in Papua New Guinea, being that is, again, with the greatest respect, not as a country like Australia? Could you see someone like Cameron Munster living in Papua New Guinea? Could you see someone like Reece Walsh living in Papua New Guinea? I think this is why the mayor of Cairns wants to say, how about, we combine forces? But then again, if that is the case, traveling from Cairns to Papua New Guinea nearly every week, that would be tiring.
Yep.
It would be great to have a team in Papua New Guinea. But again, I say this with the greatest respect. I don't see a lot of NRL players wanting to live there. I'll give the floor to someone else now.
Parenzo Vids, mate, your reaction to Papua New Guinea getting ready to put in an official bid in 2025?
I think it's good that they have a good fan base there. They do have a lot of things set up to be an NRL team, but it's not going to work in my opinion. I just don't think you're going to convince too many people to live over in Papua New Guinea. A lot of good players. I mean, David Madoff, Olam, Marcus Bai. So there's certainly talent over there, but just full time traveling over to PNG full time and all that sort of stuff. I think it's going to cause a bit of a catastrophe with the travel and everything and like that. So while it is a dream for some people to have a PNG team, I just can't see it working week in, week out. But as sad as it may be, I just don't think it's gonna work. It's just a shame.
And Parenzo Vids, man, is it if they did get the money, if the Papua New Guinean government really displayed the proper notes and the proper facts, telling the NRL that we're going to have the security, we're going to have the money, we're going to have the facilities to take care of these players, would you still give it a crack, or would you say, I'm really sorry, but we just don't see it happening, mate?
Oh, look, it's in my opinion. I mean that's good. That's a good point you make, but I think it's just too hard in general. Like I just can't see it sticking to the plan or just the schedule. It's going to be very difficult. I think for many people to go over there and play.
Yep, and you would definitely have to attain a massive mega superstar. I mean, then again, it is the national sport over there, so they'd back their team. There'd be more members than Gold Coast Titans members for sure in that first year for Papua New Guinea, for sure, man. Nathan, man, Papua New Guinea 2025 for 2030. What do you reckon, mate?
Oh, good God Almighty. Personally, with the greatest of respect, I think it's not the best idea to put a team in from Papua New Guinea. And that, because, oh God, how do I put it without me coming across as, like, they're still a third world country.
Yes.
And with the fact of, like, as you said, not crime, right? But, like, just the way things over at Port Moresby and all that kind of stuff is, how are you gonna get those big marquee players? I think Champa touched. It was either Champa or Lorenzo touched on it earlier. Are you ever going to see Cameron Munster go to Port Moresby and play, and that, or like Reece Walsh and that? At least with Auckland, it's a more developed country, and that. And the other thing too is the traveling's going to be absolutely hectic for them as well. But then again, Cowboys do it already. But I don't know. They'll have to need a crap ton of money.
Yeah,
a crap ton of money in order to survive.
Absolutely. And so too the Warriors, man. So too the Warriors. And the final word on Papua New Guinea, Nick from Australia.
I think there's more of a chance of me winning the Powerball than fucking Papua New Guinea coming into the NRL. To be honest, I think I could walk into the news agency tomorrow and pick up a lotto ticket or a Powerball ticket, and I reckon I could win. And that would have more of a chance of being a successful fucking win on, gambling wise instead of the fucking Papua New Guinean. So I'd love to see the NRL take 2 games there a year. I reckon that would be great for the game. I reckon there should be 2 games at least in Papua New Guinea during the NRL season. We're taking games to Coffs Harbour, for example, this year, and there might be a game to Lismore later on in the year, depending on the situation. But I think every team should take 1 game or 2 games, at least to Papua New Guinea, just to promote the game. Same with Samoa and Tonga and Fiji. Take 1 game or 2 over there during the season. I think it'd be great for the game. I don't think an NRL team in Papua New Guinea would work at all. A bit like Perth, fellas. They don't have the junior base. I guess they probably do in a way due to their own, like everyone plays together. I guess you could say that is their own system. But financially, it costs them an arm and a leg. And I don't think the NRL is going to wait to 2030 for an 18th team. So
Absolutely not.
I would prefer Perth or the second New Zealand team than Papua New Guinea, to be honest with you.
Okay, and just a general question. I hope, Nathan, you can hear us, guys. If Papua New Guinea did get off the ground, you still wouldn't even want them to be based out at Cairns. You wouldn't even want to see a Papua New Guinean side based somewhere in Darwin, for example. Because this is my controversial hot take, guys, is that if a Papua New Guinean side is to work, don't base it out in Cairns. You base them in the Northern Territory and you make it even more of a national rugby league competition. You have 8 or 10 games in Darwin, 1 game in Alice Springs per se. And then because it's not too much of a travel for the gentlemen that do live in Port Moresby, you just travel between Darwin and Port Moresby, and then you have 2 games of rugby league out there at their national football stadium. So in my opinion, if Papua New Guinea was to work, you sort of have a combined effort with Darwin, and you actually have a brand new market as well in the mainland of Australia. And Champa, since you were the first person to speak on Papua New Guinea, I'll ask, mate, what's your reaction to the idea of potentially combining Darwin and Papua New Guinea as a consortium?
Well, it's a very creative idea, expanded the game not only in Papua New Guinea but in Northern Territory as well. Again, I feel like with that being the case, we could face the same issues as we did with Adelaide and Perth, being that the game isn't as strong. However, I do think that Northern Territory rugby league is stronger than places like Adelaide and Perth. However, I do feel like there has to be some sort of junior development system built there first if we are going to, base an NRL team not only in PNG but in Northern Territory. But it's a very fantastic idea that you've come up with to have a few games in Darwin, a game in Alice Springs, and some games in Port Moresby. I just feel like if that is the case, we might find some same issues as we would face if we base a team out in Perth or Adelaide. But I'm always open to the idea of it. But great points that you made.
Nick from Australia, mate.
Is my microphone working or just cut out?
No, man, you're still on. You're still good, bro.
It's still working.
Yeah, so look, Papua New Guinea, I mean, I think, we touched on this before. I think they should take a couple games over there a year. Financially, they probably do have a little bit of money, but boys, with all due respect to Papua New Guinea, it's just not going to work. Even if I have it based out of Darwin or in Cairns, It's still not going to work. Like I guarantee you right now, it will not work. No way.
So in respect to Parenzo and Nathan, we'll shut down the Papua New Guinea chapter. Just saying it's a no. It's a hard no for
Big
them
no.
to be in the next 18th side.
God no.
Lorenzo, Nathan.
God no.
Yeah, I'll go
God,
first.
no.
Yeah. No, I don't agree.
Yep. Okay, then we'll move on to the next one. And everybody, if you're just tuning in, we're just talking about who could be the next 18th side. We're going through some of the pros and cons, location possibilities as well. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Please go and check out all our Champa, Parenzo Vids, Nick from Australia, and Nathan Moore as well. I really appreciate their time tonight. And we're going to try and get through it a little bit more quicker now. And this is a team that we've already touched on as well already, but let's get more in detail about it. Western Australia, the Perth team that has been has had rumours about them for what feels like forever now. And doing me research, it looks like it's gone stale, like the trail has gone stale. So I'll just bring up this. So they're still aiming, if possible, to be in the competition by 2026, and if their bid is successful, another $96 million will be injected into HBF Park. And on the right-hand side of screen, that's only a brand new stand that's been put in place there as well. So a lot more money being put into that side, into that site. So my opinion on Perth is that I love the concept of Perth being the team because the time slots could be fabulous. A 9:30 live kickoff between the Western Australian side and Brisbane Broncos side at 9:30 would be huge ratings, man. A late kickoff on Sunday at 6:30, for example, it'd be 4:30, 4 o'clock over there. I think the time zones are actually more of a positive than a con. But as you guys have already stated, AFL is the dominating factor. And looking at some of the junior competitions that are going on over there, they've only just started. They've had a COVID-ravaged 18 months over there in Perth as well. So they're sort of starting from the ground zero, from the ground up as well, man. So I'll start with Parenzo Vids first, guys. Perth, Western Australian team, mate. If it's not the Central Coast Bears, which you did say earlier, should be the next side to join in as soon as possible. What's your thoughts on if it didn't go the Bears, it'd go Perth? How would you feel, man?
Look, I don't hate it. I wouldn't hate it at all. I think there is potential for it to work, as it's a little bit of has some sort of little bit of history actually with it being there in Perth before. There is a little bit of representation, but I just like Nick said, just it is an AFL dominated sort of place. And I don't think it's going to work if you're going to try and make a rugby league sort of just be there religiously, and because it's all AFL area. I don't think many people over there would care to watch NRL there, or would watch it week in, week out. The occasional game there would be good, but I just don't think it's a week in, week out sort of place to have rugby league there. Like the image that you showed before, Sam, the image of the stadium looked pretty good. I like the stadium there actually. I think it's a very nice sort of facility, but again, I just don't think Perth would work. But if it was to come in, I wouldn't hate it because there is a bit of potential there, like I mentioned, the history and I guess a couple of people coming from there. I mean, the only real Perth product that I know of is Curtis Lewis, the Manly forward. He actually came from there, Perth actually. So I don't know how much more there is, but I wouldn't hate it.
And all that Champa, mate. What's your opinion on Perth, mate?
I'll first start by saying I'm quite glad that you used the image of the West Coast Pirates. As someone who's very familiar with the junior systems of rugby league, the West Coast Pirates is the junior developmental side for Western Australia. So they have a foundation there. And I've always said, you get your junior system first, you can build your way up to an NRL side. They have the foundation there. It's if they want to put the time and effort to build that, to nurture that, to make it a dominating junior system like we see in Penrith, in Central Coast, in Eastern Suburbs, in all those areas. The time slot that you said, I feel like yes. After hearing how you explained it, I feel like that could work very well. It's just if they're going to put the time and effort to build the game there and to get eyes on the game, because as we mentioned before, it seems to be a losing battle against AFL. However, the tides can change with that if they want to put more attention into rugby league, building it in Western Australia, building it in Perth, and being a dominant sport as it is in Sydney. I'm very open to the idea and the concept of rugby league being massive in Perth. It's just, I feel like Perth's attention is more towards their AFL sides than to rugby league. But again, they have the junior system there. They have the stadium that looks fantastic. So it's a bit of a what if question if rugby league can succeed in Perth. Is the government going to focus on rugby league being big in Perth? Or is it just going to be a minority sport that it already is right now? But that's just my take on Perth being in in Perth being in the NRL. I'm very optimistic to the idea. I'll say that.
Nice, man. Nice positivity there, bro. And Nick from Australia, mate. If it's not the Bears that becomes the 18th team, how would you feel about Perth being that 18th side?
I do like the time zones. Like you said before, imagine a Saturday night, 9:30 kickoff, or a Sunday night, say, I don't know, 6 o'clock kickoff. The my post-game live reviews would be very late at night, which would be a lot of fun. But let me just say this. Perth definitely does not work on Thursdays, and it definitely does not work on Fridays. It only works on the weekend, so Saturday and Sunday. I don't see it working any other day, unless you did it late Friday night, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But let me just say this. The West Coast Pirates, what a fucking ridiculous name of a team that is. Pirates. What's their bloody song going to be after it's over? Aye, Captain. I mean, what's their fucking song going to be?
Well, I mean, if we have Dolphins in the side, I reckon we can get away with Pirates.
Fuck me, SquarePants. Jesus Christ. No, but in all seriousness, it's got to be Perth something. West Coast Pirates sounds ridiculous. Sounds like something from Rugby Live 4. But
better than Firebirds or Firehawks. I'll give it that.
Yeah, don't even go there. You're going to make me mad. Don't even go there. But look, I think the time zone would be good. They don't really have much of a fan base over there. I guess all of the people that watch rugby league would go, but it wouldn't be a big fan base. It'd be as low as the Gold Coast, I'd say. But someone did write that before. If Melbourne can work, then why can't Perth work? Well, Melbourne's been successful. Perth's unproven, so it's a massive risk. I wouldn't despise it, but boys, like I said before, I just want the Bears to be in. I want Central Coast to be in. Perth's a chance, and look, Perth's my second option, to be honest with you, boys. I wouldn't mind Perth. It's just my second option if the Bears can't go in, but fuck, man. West Coast Pirates, aye, Captain. They've got to move that name.
Rugby league history. I can see if West Coast Pirates lose, the papers will write Pirates made to walk the plank. Shiver me timbers, Pirates lose again. Oh, man. You've hit the nail on the head.
Just imagine what that team song would be. It'd be the SpongeBob SquarePants theme, or it'd be that children's song. Do what you want because a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Oh, man. No way. And Nathan, man, your reaction to if Bears don't get in, how would you feel about Perth, mate?
Am I coming through loud and clear, or?
Yes, you are, sir.
Yes, you are.
Okay, sweet as. I'm going to do this audio only, if that's all right.
Whatever.
I like the idea of Perth being in there. I really like it. To be fair, I do prefer the Pirates name over the Western Reds, in my opinion. I just think the Western Reds name is just...
Fair point.
But I think Perth, they have been more interested in rugby league than Adelaide and all these other areas. So at least there's that. But I mean, it all comes down to financial backing as well as homegrown talent. I think they can really get the homegrown talent there. I do have faith in that. The financial side of things is what I'm really more concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
But in saying that, though, in my opinion, I still think this Perth team will have more members than the Titans.
Yeah, right. So it's same as Nick's point. Yeah, okay, then no worries. Thank you, guys. So we're gonna move into the last team that's on the agenda, and that, guys, is the second New Zealand team. And I know this might cause a bit of hot debate as well. So, what's being touted at the moment is the location will be either Wellington or Christchurch. And if it is successful, a new Christchurch stadium will be built. And just to give you an idea, that's what the current Christchurch stadium looks like.
It looks very good.
And this is what the brand new Christchurch stadium would look like if it were to be successful. So that would be, and that's about 30-odd thousand, 25,000 seated stadium.
That's
and
amazing.
it looks like a treat if it was to come to fruition as well. And also the last point there that I had at the bottom is that already, and this is a massive key, that the rival club bosses, so Cowboys, Tigers, what have you, as late as February, have already voted in favour of New Zealand to be the 18th team in the NRL. So this second New Zealand team has already got a bit of momentum behind it, lads. And Nathan, man, I'd like to start with you, please, mate. The Wellington Orcas or the Christchurch whatever, or Wellington whatever, how would you feel about a second New Zealand team in the NRL?
Well, I would actually rather base it in Wellington because it is the nation's capital and that. However, I don't see them being the next team, unfortunately, because look at the Warriors. Look at how the Warriors are going.
Yeah.
If you're gonna even think about having a second New Zealand team, you need to make sure the Warriors are playing consistent finals footy, have a steady sort of system going behind their backs, and actually, perform. And that.
Yes.
So,
yep.
Oh, sorry about that. But it's more of a case of fix what you've already got before you start a brand new thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing too, guys, is that considering the Warriors have been away, let's call it for what it is, rugby league in general has been away from New Zealand for about 2.5 to 3 years now. The junior systems in New Zealand would have stagnated. I'm sure the junior competitions are really dry at the moment. I fear how well of a foothold they could make. Considering, in my opinion, I fear about the development, the junior development coming through New Zealand at the moment, considering how little rugby league has occurred over there since late 2019 sort of thing. Nick from Australia, mate, second New Zealand side, bro. How do you feel?
Destined for failure, bro.
Yeah?
Destined for failure. There's nothing over there, bro. Rugby union's already taken over. And it already has took over. Hasn't been any rugby league games over there in almost 3 years. The Warriors themselves should not even be a part of this conversation. But unfortunately, they will be due to how shit they have been. They've made 2 grand finals. They haven't won anything in their history except a minor premiership back in 2002. Rugby league in New Zealand is currently dead until New Zealand Warriors come back. They will probably get a bit of a lift when they come back. But come on, man. Yeah. You got Central Coast, which is 10 times more financial and 10 times more ready. And then you got Perth, which I think would probably be a better option than the second New Zealand team anyway. And I do like the stadium, boys, but the New Zealand Warriors can just go there and play there. Come on, man. The second New Zealand team's not going to work. You can't even play there anyway because of the COVID. So It's just not going to work. It'd be a failure, I reckon.
And this is why we're talking about this now, is because Redcliffe, as I said before, they only had 1 year to really sort of organise a team. And in my opinion, I think in everyone's opinion, they've been really underwhelming. It's not as if they're failing; they've just been underwhelming at the moment. And so and we can't have odd number of teams in the NRL, and a second New Zealand side would need years of preparation to work properly, man. And it would not happen before 2025. We need 18 teams before 2025, in my opinion. And Proenzo Vids, man, I'd like your reaction to a second New Zealand team, please, mate.
Yeah, well, I had to think about this before coming on here because I knew that we'd probably be discussing this about a second New Zealand team. But I guess just thinking more about it now, if we took COVID out of the conversation for a second, imagine how good, the junior systems would be and how good, just the rugby league being there again would work. I mean, I get it. It's a rugby union sort of territory where it's mainly all about playing for the All Blacks and stuff like that. It's really just all about that kind of football. But I don't hate the idea completely. Like, I know that, looking at the Warriors for a second, they haven't been too good. And I know that, they're the representation. They're really the indication whether they, whether the way they're going should be another New Zealand team, because what if they fail as well, But they may not, But again, it's tough with COVID as well. I mean, as we live in right now with COVID, it's tough. But look, I wouldn't hate it though. I mean, have some stadiums there in New Zealand. I think, like Nathan said, having it in Wellington would be a right idea since it's the capital there, and I think that probably draw a couple of fans to support the club too. So it's not going to happen probably. I don't believe it's going to happen, but if it was to happen, I'd love to see another New Zealand team actually after everything they've gone through.
Yo, absolutely.
Sam, what was the name going to be called of this second New Zealand team if they do come in? What was the name?
Look, it was. This isn't set in stone. This is just what they've used in the past. So they'd be known as either the Wellington or the Southern Orcas, with a killer whale being predominantly the face of the club.
Sounds like fucking 2-week-old bread.
Oh, bro.
that doesn't sound good to me. It sounds like shit.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely needs a bit of touching up. I do
need
agree
a new
with
name,
you.
boys.
It does. And All Out Champ, I've sort of saved you up for last on this because I know that you're very passionate about this topic as well. You've got a lot to say. Please, man, the floor is yours, bro.
Well, I am very passionate about the topic of a second New Zealand side, as I do come from Māori heritage myself. I've always had a soft spot for the New Zealand Warriors. I want to see them succeed. They represent my country. I want to see them. I want to see them succeed. I do see a second New Zealand side succeeding if they fix a lot of errors. Now, everyone brings up the conversation of you bring in a second New Zealand side when the original New Zealand side, the New Zealand Warriors, aren't doing that well. Well, we could bring the same conversation up if the 3 Queensland teams, soon to be 4, didn't make the top 8. Why would we bring another Queensland side if those teams didn't make the top 8? Now, moving past from that, in rugby league in general, yes, it's been away from the country for 2 to 3 plus years. However, I think if you bring it back within a few months, the fan base will start coming back. They are very passionate for their rugby league, as well as rugby union, which is going to be the sport that they will have to compete with if they were to bring in a second New Zealand side. What my worry is, I can see it working, I can see it happening, is the second New Zealand side, whether it's Wellington, Christchurch, Orcas, Southern, whatever, can they keep these players from going to rugby union? That's my issue, because we see an issue already with the NRL. A lot of rugby league players jumping ship to rugby union, and a lot of these players have been of New Zealand and Polynesian heritage. Players like recently Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Glenn Fisiahi, David Fusatua, Sonny Bill Williams, Benji Marshall at one point. They have all jumped the ship to rugby union. If a second New Zealand side was to succeed, I want to see him secure the players, stop them from jumping over to rugby union. And I think a second New Zealand side could start to even the playing field against rugby union, to say, all right, we're building rugby league, our code of rugby, to be the dominant sport in the country instead of rugby union. But again, It will take years to take, and maybe what you guys said is right. Maybe we need to get the current New Zealand side to be good, as that is the face of New Zealand Rugby League. But these are my points that I feel like need to be addressed when we bring up the conversation of a second New Zealand side. But other than that, I do see it working if they can fix up a lot of minor issues.
Wow, that was fantastic, mate. You brought up some fantastic points, bro. So basically to round out this conversation now that we've spoken about all the possibilities of an 18th side, are we all in agreement that there needs to be a side in the NRL by 2025? Starting with Nick and going
Definitely.
to Lorenzo?
Yep, definitely.
Champa?
Yes, even at the competition.
Nathan?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yo, alrighty. And just in order of preference as well, guys. Starting with you, Nick, please, good sir. What in order of preference? Who would you like to see as the 18th team? Just three, please, man.
Okay, well, number 3 would be probably New Zealand, I would say. Second New Zealand team would be my number 3. Number 2, Perth. And number 1, Central Coast. Central Coast has to be the 18th NRL team, in my opinion.
Nathan Moore, mate. Your 3 preferences, please, mate.
All right. Number 3, same as Nick, with New Zealand. Number 2, Perth. And number 1, Travelling Bears, I like to call them.
The Travelling Bears. Yeah, man. Champa, mate?
Number 3, I would have Perth. Good foundation there. Need a lot of improvement, though. The second team, my second team would be the second New Zealand side. I can see a lot of success happening from there. And number 1, like Nathan said, the Bears are the general. The regional New South Wales side, as they will mostly be called with in Central Coast and the Coffs Harbour, and all those other regional New South Wales side areas. The Bears being my number 1 team.
Yep. And Lorenzo, mate, your 3 preferences.
Yeah, Perth number 3. I think Perth have potential to be something good. Number 2, I have the second New Zealand team. I think that once COVID sort of clears up, there could be some good things happening there with the fans there. And number 1, I would have Central Coast. I think that's designed to be the next 18th team.
And just before I give out my preferences as well, guys, just a random question off the top. Is there a location that we haven't touched on? And this is specifically towards Nathan. Is there a place that we haven't spoken about? Is there somewhere that we haven't touched on? Starting with you, Nathan.
Well, I was gonna say, and again, this is probably going to be me being extremely biased, but a northern New South Wales team, I think, would actually be pretty good. And that, base it out of Coffs Harbour and all that, because that is a rugby league breeding ground. That, I mean, you look at my area, the Mid-North Coast, who's the biggest player so far from there? Latrell Mitchell. And that. As for other areas, I think, well, actually, no. With the North Coast thing, that's going to fall under the Bears bid. So wouldn't necessarily be happening, but it'd be somewhere nice. If money wasn't an issue, and like if money was just thrown out the window in this case, I'd love to see a Central Queensland team.
Nathan,
I think that would be interesting.
Okay.
I
Nick,
love you, Nathan, but fuck, Coffs Harbour is so fucking shit.
Oh,
I mean, you're not.
I don't know,
wrong.
Nick. It's got rugby league heritage. It's got a lot of rugby league fans out there.
I'd rather have fucking New Zealand over Coffs Harbour.
Fair point.
I don't think the look as we saw with the Bears guys, they're going to be taking games all over the shop. So I don't think Coffs Harbour is a big enough joint, or there's not really a big enough city up there in the Northern Rivers. With all due respect to you, Nathan and Nick, who do live up in that region, that could host a massive stadium, host these massive teams that come in. So just a quick trip from the North Sydney Bears to go up once or twice a year would be fine. I mean, the Sharks are doing it this year, and that did so last
Exactly.
year as well. I think that's enough. And just to rugby league history's point and what you said there, Nathan, I haven't considered Central Queensland in this discussion because I don't think there should be another team in Queensland after Redcliffe. I genuinely don't think that should be the case.
Four's enough.
If you want to take
Yeah.
out a game to Central Queensland, have the Broncos take out a regional game. Have the Gold Coast take whatever out there to Toowoomba, for example. But I don't think there's, off the top of my head, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's a city or a town big enough in Central Queensland that would do justification to having 30,000 stadium built in that region.
Yeah.
Parenzo Vids, man. What's your thoughts on Central Queensland or a fifth and potential Queensland side, mate?
Oh, there's enough Queensland teams. I think the systems there are very good, and I think that fits enough for four. I think, like you said, take some occasional games out there to Toowoomba and those sort of parts of Central Queensland, and promote just the Broncos or Gold Coast playing out those sort of ways. Don't think we need another team in Queensland.
And Nick, man, you're in agreement with just being four teams from now on in Queensland?
Yeah, I think four Queensland teams is the way to go. I think you've now got the Gold Coast, which is close enough to Brisbane. Then you got the Dolphins now, and then you got the Cowboys up north. So four's enough for Queensland.
Yep. And Champa, your opinion on Central Queensland?
It's a very interesting idea, but like everyone said, I think four Queensland teams is enough. If they were to bring up a fifth Queensland side, I wouldn't be surprised if it does go to Central Queensland. Interesting, but I think playing it, say, four Queensland sides, it'll do me, and I think it'll do a lot of other people.
And Nathan, mate, Central Queensland?
Yeah, I think after thinking of the bigger picture here, it doesn't make sense, and that it'd be a lot better if they took either the Broncos or the Cowboys out to that sort of areas.
Sorry, Nathan. And this is with all due respect to rugby league history as well, man. That wasn't to really ram against you sort of thing. It's an idea that I hadn't thought about, and it's an interesting point of discussion. So that's just my opinion. That's everybody else's opinion. That was no disrespect to you and anybody else's opinion that was left there in the chat tonight. Besides that, just going around, starting with Champa at the bottom there to Nathan, Lorenzo, and Nick. Are there any other talking points that you'd like to talk about?
There's one team that you've all forgotten about, and it is the new team of Lismore. Lismore United, brand new team coming up. I am the creator of Lismore United. I'm going to start this new franchise, boys. We're going to be playing out at Oaks Oval, which is going to be able to fit about 10,000 very soon. We can fit a big crowd. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to look better on Oaks Oval is going to look better on TV than fucking ANZ Stadium does on Thursday nights. Lismore, it's going to be fantastic, boys. Lismore United. I'm going to be the coach. My dad's going to be the CEO of the club.
Yeah,
all
man.
you boys are hired as well. Nathan, you're going to be the janitor. Sam's going to be the chef. Pro Enzo is going to be the director manager, and Champa's going to be the assistant coach.
I love it.
Bro, well, I can't wait to see
Love
where you
that.
pull out. Can't wait to see where you pull out $50 million from, Nick.
I'm going to win the Powerball, boys.
All from YouTube.
Hey,
Or from YouTube, as Lorenzo said, for sure, man. And just always
Get out.
listen, Broncos. Hey, for tuning in, mate. But the Redcliffe Dolphins, they're going to be taking care of the Sunshine Coast forever and a day now. And Ipswich, they had their shot and they missed out, and they miss out, man. And to rugby league history, Redcliffe and Cronulla, no, just because it's Sharks and Dolphins doesn't mean they're going to be rivals,
Who
man.
the fuck started that?
that's the same issue I have when people say Tigers and Panthers are rivals because they're two
Oh.
cats.
Prinzo Vince gets so angry when they start
Lismore
talking
United.
Dolphins and Sharks.
Lismore United, boys. It's going to be fantastic.
And all right, a Fijian team falls in the same bracket as a Papua New Guinean team, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I know the
exactly
Fijian Drua are doing fantastic things in the Super Rugby at the moment. They've got quite the backing, but they're at least 30 years away from being considered, unfortunately. And you've already got some players that want to sign up with you, mate. Sign me up, Nick. Metallic Panther.
I'm a fucking visionary,
Rugby
mate.
League Roundup wants to be. Yep.
Rugby League Roundup will be on the wing because he's so skinny. Metallic Panther will be at 5'8". It's gonna be fantastic. Oh, as that Storm fan says, I'll play wing. Well, no. Melbourne fans are not welcome. Sorry.
Oh,
Oh God, savage.
And Gold Coast fans are not welcome either.
Oh dear.
But that's about it.
And just Champa, man, are there any other ideas? Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on as far as expansion goes, bro?
Well, I'll touch on this very quickly. I'm all right with the teams that we've discussed, but I'm going to throw this conversation up to you guys. A second Victorian side.
Oh,
that
fuck,
work?
mate, I'm walking out, boys. I swear to God, I'll walk out. Please,
Right of the success that the Melbourne Storm have been producing for the past few years.
Bro, those purple cunts walk around the fucking city, don't even get recognised as it is. You put another team in there, it's going to be even worse than fucking Perth. It'd be the worst team of all time. I'd rather Papua New Guinea and Samoa form a fucking team than have another Melbourne team.
That'd be scary though.
I'll walk out. I swear to God, I'll walk over here in Melbourne again. Jesus Christ.
Look, I respect it, mate, and it's your opinion. I couldn't handle a second Melbourne team or a Geelong team, as it were, bro. I couldn't handle it.
I'm
you
close,
love
boys.
Geelong,
I'm
though,
pushing
Sam.
it.
Fair points.
Well,
Boys,
no,
you're pushing
mate.
it.
No. So, and look, to always Brisbane Bronco, Melbourne can barely develop a kid from Melbourne. Oh, I don't know.
And you have a very
just fucking
successful junior. Go on.
Yeah, sorry, Champa. Melbourne have never made a dent in Melbourne and haven't captured the hearts of the public. No chance with the second team. And Jacko here, thank you very much. We're starting to go a little bit off the rails now. And I only promised these lads that I'd be about 45 minutes. But
Who gives a shit? Who
it's been a
cares?
really fun discussion, and I thank you all of them so much for their time. The links to their channels aren't in the description box just yet, just because I didn't know how the lineup was going to be looking like tonight. But there will be the links further on in the evening. So please stay tuned for that. All Out Champa, man, thank you so much for your time, mate. I really appreciate it. And can I just confirm with you on air, and can you confirm with the public as well, that you'll be joining me again tomorrow night with Nick from Australia to preview the West Tigers North Queensland Cowboys?
That is correct. I'll be joining you two with the Cowboys versus Tigers match for Magic Rounds, and we get to go over many points on what the Tigers will beat the Cowboys very easily on Magic Round.
You'd be lucky to score fucking 8 points.
Oh, stop it, Nick! Stop it.
And is there any other content that people can look forward to on your channel there, Champa?
Well, I have put the notice up on my bio in my Instagram, and if you guys haven't checked that out, it is All Out Champa. Make sure to follow that on Instagram. But I am premiering a new show mid-May. It is going to be called, a sneak peek to everyone watching right now, going to be called the All Out Section, which is quite similar to many shows on YouTube right now, where I basically have a bit of topics about rugby league, and I have some people on, and we just throw the topic in the middle, and everyone just says their piece. It's going to be great. I'm going to throw in more segments in. All That Section, make sure the guys check that out. It's coming soon. You do not want to miss it.
Nice, man. And no, you don't want to miss it, guys. Otherwise, something bad will happen to you. Nathan Moore, man, are you gonna do something?
What, you want me to sing a song or?
No.
Oh.
Is there any content coming your way, mate? Are you doing? Do
you have any plans
with YouTube? Do you have any plans, mate?
No, not really. There may be some song covers coming out soon, maybe, but that will have to wait and see.
Yo, dude, true. And Parenzo Vids, man, what's the schedule looking like for you, mate?
Well, I'm actually considering live streaming the Manly Brisbane game on Friday, first one of the year. So I might do it if I'm free to do it. Then yeah, I will.
It's a
definitely
curse,
do
bro.
it.
Don't do it. It's a fucking curse. Fucking Sam
Nah,
did a
bro.
Cowboys live stream, and look what happened. We got killed. It's a curse. Don't do it. But no,
Nah,
I'm only joking, bro.
Last year when I did it, we did beat Use. I'm not going to get into that though.
Oh, don't go there.
Ooh, what
Yeah,
a shame.
Oh.
You little shit.
well, everybody go and check out our friends of Vincent's channel. He's going to be doing a mainly live stream this weekend. And Nick from Australia, mate. Oh, what's your schedule looking like this weekend, mate?
Oh, mate. Oh, it's a big week for me. Tomorrow's a big day. I've got the Magic Round tips coming out at about 4:30 live on YouTube tomorrow afternoon. Obviously joining you, Sam, for the Cowboys and Tigers preview. And then Wednesday, I head up to Magic Round. I'm going up to Brisbane on Wednesday to Monday. So I'll be on holidays up at Magic Round. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Expect me to be on the piss. Probably by the weekend. Who knows? But get ready for lots of vlogs, lots of content. The podcast will be on Thursday night live from Brisbane. But
Yep. Sounds good.
yeah, there'll be game day vlogs, reviews live from the ground. There'll be Entertain House will be involved. Will be in it. Hold the Ball will make an appearance. Warriors and NRL Fanatics will be there on the Saturday. I think Trev from Shut the Gates is also going to be there for all 3 days. So plenty of big content creators will be in the reviews on the weekend. So it's going to be a massive weekend. And I'm going on holidays, boys, so I can't wait.
Nice. And
How
so
good.
just to confirm, Lorenzo, are you going to Magic Round?
Nah, not this year, mate. Unfortunately, too much going on.
Nathan, you're not going to Magic Round?
Nah, I've got some things lined up in my plate, unfortunately.
Champa?
Disgusting.
Late planning, and I couldn't really. No, I'm basically not.
I ain't friggin' nothing. I ain't going nowhere. So, Nick,
We
you
spoke
go
about
enjoy
this
your
for the last
holiday.
6 months.
It's just Nick.
We spoke about it for 6 months. We've all talked about it on Instagram. You've all left me high and dry. I'm going on my own. You've all ditched the bear. You can all get fucked. You left me high and dry.
We've got Fanatics, mate. We've got Fanatics. He's the goat.
But Alex is gone.
He's the only one that's fucking made sense in the last 6 months. Anyway, boys,
Well, you got us,
we're
man.
more
You got
united. New team.
You got Luke going to Magic Round. You've got SS Storm fans. So you've got some Melbourne fans that you can go hang out with up there in Brisbane, mate.
As long as they're not negative towards me, they'll be all fine.
Sorry, rugby league history.
These kids.
What did he say?
Oh,
Oh, FF when you made me.
Go. And by the way, I just while I remember it, my 3 preferences for expansion. Number one is the Central Coast Bears. My second option is Perth, and number 3 is a second New Zealand side. So I think before we go, guys, can I ask for 5 minutes of your time because something just beautiful has popped up into the green room. Would you all please bow down to the king?
Oh, no.
The king.
How are we, lads?
This
How
might
are
get
we?
rated R, so you might want to tell the chat.
How you going, man? You're
Chat.
coming in loud and
Look,
clear.
kids
How
that
are
are
you?
watching, put him to bed right now.
Yeah, I'm good, bro. How are you?
Put a shirt on, you sicko.
I have one on.
You're not wearing a shirt, are you?
Big glasses, mate.
Yes.
Oi, King.
Oh, you too.
King, man. Just while you're here, bro, what's your opinion on the 18th side, mate? Just to catch you off guard a little bit, bro. What's your opinion on the 18th side?
Bro, that's a tough question. To be honest, I haven't thought about that too much. To be completely honest.
That's all
What
right.
do you
That's
lads?
all right. So,
What have you lads been discussing it?
Central
Well-
Coast Bears.
this is it. So we've been talking about the possibilities of a location for the 18th side in the NRL, and everyone is in unanimous agreement that the Bears should be inducted or injected into the NRL as soon as possible by 2025. What is your opinion on a Bears side being injected back into the rugby league, mate?
I don't know, bro. I know this is going to be controversial, but I'd like for Papua New Guinea side to come into the NRL. To be
What
completely
the
honest,
fuck?
No. He's entitled to his opinion, man. And
I'm surprised.
well, allow me, guys. I know you guys are sort of at 6s and 7s. I am too at the moment, but it's all good. So I hope you can see this, mate. So in 2025, Papua New Guinea are going to go to the NRL and say we're going to put in a bid to become a team in 2030. The mayor of Cairns has come out and said that he'd like for Papua New Guinea to become a combined force with them and play in Cairns and a couple of games out there at Port Moresby as well, mate. I'd love to see a Papua New Guinea inside as well, mate. But how would you do a Papua New Guinea inside? Would you keep them located permanently in Port Moresby? Would you have them relocate to Cairns? Or my idea, King, was to have them combined with Darwin, so it's not much travel. The climate doesn't change all that much as well. I'd base them out at Darwin and have a couple of games up in Port Moresby. Go ahead, mate. Floor's yours.
I reckon relocating to Cairns is a good idea. I mean, it's a good area. It's a big area, and bro, Papua New Guinea, they've got so much talent. So I don't know why everyone in the community doesn't go for that, for the Papua New Guinea side to come in as much. It's pretty strange to me. They have so much talent. I reckon it could be a big thing.
If it ever got off the ground, man,
well,
it would be massive. Yeah, it would be. It would be massive, man. Huge. But yeah, I mean, everyone. Unfortunately, everyone has probably got Papua New Guinea in fourth place out of the 5 places that we've spoken about. But it's great to see that your opinion comes in and you want to promote Papua New Guinea, mate. I think it's fantastic, bro.
Yeah, I'd love to see it, bro. I've got so much talent over there. It's amazing.
And just I hope you can and confirm with me, mate. Can you see it when I pop up the Bears little banner in the bottom there, bro?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on the Bears, mate? On a preference of 3-1, how would you? Where would you like them to be, mate?
Well, see, there's history with the Bears, isn't there? I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest, bro.
Yeah, fair
I'm not a big fan.
Go true. Any in particular reason why you think they've just had their time and come and gone,
Yeah, I think they've come and gone, bro. They have history. Didn't really seem to work out, did it?
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I think their time's done, to be completely honest.
Okay. So would you hold more favour towards a second New Zealand side coming into the competition over the Bears, mate?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. They have so much local talent there. I would love to see it.
And would you?
I think they would have the money as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Would you be worried about their junior systems, bro? Considering they haven't been rugby league just hasn't been in New Zealand now for 2 years at least.
I think it would take a little while for them to get going, but yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yep. And just last of all, mate, Western Australia, bro. How would you feel about Western Australia?
Expanding all over the country, man. Yeah, I don't know about Western Australia, to be completely honest.
Yep.
I don't know.
No, that's fine, man. No worries. No, that's fine, dude. I genuinely appreciate you coming on and just giving your opinion, mate. That's awesome. So, considering what we've spoken about, and you come in, it's good, mate. It's fantastic. So we were just wrapping up the show.
No worries, bro.
What a fantastic way to end what I think has been a great live stream with all of you fellas. Links will be in the description box below. Everybody, thank you all for tuning in. I think this has been one of the best shows I've done. Thank you all for the support.
Bow down to the king as well. Everyone bow down.
Bow down to the king for sure, bro. Bow down to all of you, mate. I thank you all very much. Adios, everybody. Take care.
Lismore United. Lismore United, boys.